right.
Yeah.
But that's just
That's like when pigs fly.
Right, exactly.
You know? All right, so let's go to Lou. Lou, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes,
can.
hello.
You're talking to Jenna and V. And it says here you have a personal experience with the Christian God.
Yes, that's why I'm calling.
Awesome.
Okay, the reason I'm calling is because I discovered you guys a few weeks ago, and I listened to a lot of the clips on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the objections, I admit that some of them I don't have. I admit that I don't have all of the answers. I may have some of them, but not all of the answers to the objections that atheists have.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, I have had a personal, several actually, but one in particular that I'm thinking of, a personal experience with God. And when I say God, I mean the Christian God, Jesus, etc. And it's something that hasn't happened yet, but it's something that's going to happen to me in the public view in the future.
Oh.
And my question, the reason why I'm calling,
Mm-hmm.
is this is my question. If I were to record myself and show the date, like say, hey, this is today,
Mm-hmm.
this is something that's going to happen to me in the future, and the only reason I know this is going to happen is because God told me, and it's something that, in my opinion, and I believe the opinion of most people, would be something that I wouldn't know unless God told me. Would that be sufficient evidence for you, or let's say atheists in general, to say that God is real?
No.
No, for a couple reasons. And this is assuming that the thing then does happen to you later, right?
Yeah, assuming it happens, right.
Yeah, okay.
Assuming I'm being honest and stuff.
So there are a couple things that I would be hesitant about. The first being, if you know a prophecy beforehand, you can then make it happen, which is how a lot of the prophecy in the Bible happened, because people had access to the Old Testament while they were writing the New Testament. And so they could then look at the prophecies that they were told were going to happen and then wrote about them and that they happened. So my first question would be, okay, so this guy either honestly believes that he had this epiphany from Jesus, or is claiming to, I don't know, but he's saying this thing is going to happen to him, and then it happens. My first thought is not, oh, that's clearly prophecy. It's, oh, somehow he made this happen, or he put himself into a situation where that thing could happen.
Okay, and the reason why I'm asking, the reason for the call is because obviously I want to, like before the thing does happen, I would like to find a way to be convincing to atheists to show evidence. So that's why I'm asking the question before it happens. That's why. It's not so much to, it's just to say, like, I know it's going to happen. Let's say, based on my experience, I'm making that claim.
Can I give
and
you...
I want to have the evidence.
Sorry. So can I give you an example of why I don't think that you would find many atheists who will accept the things that you will probably be coming up with? Can I give you an example, like a metaphor to try to help you visualize why? So if I were to tell you, and I think I've brought up a similar example on this show before, where if I were to tell you that I had a car outside that flies and runs on milk.
Okay.
How could I prove to you that I do, in fact, have that car that flies and runs on milk with your knowledge so far about reality?
Well, just to go with your example, I know that cars generally, to my knowledge, don't run on milk and they don't fly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have to see the car fly and run on milk, I guess.
Right. So that's like a crazy claim that I would have a car like that, considering what we know about cars and how they run on gasoline and how heavy they are and how they do not fly yet, right?
Sure.
So in order for you to believe that, you would have to go all the way to the extremes of probably seeing it, seeing me put milk in it, seeing it run, right? There would have to be a number of things that I would have to do to convince you that that's not only that's actually true, right?
Okay.
So using that example, so it's like if you were trying to convince me that you have this God, and this God is watching me at all times. It knows what I'm thinking. It knows what I've thought before. It knows what I'm going to think, what I'm going to do. This to me is an extraordinary claim, much more extraordinary than a car that flies and runs on milk, because I don't even have a way to go and test this. Like, for me to prove to you that it's there, you could go look at it. This isn't even something I could go and find to look at. I have nothing that I can test. I have nothing that I can use to prove it other than, well, I heard someone who knew someone who said that this thing might have happened a long time ago. And it's like, yeah, but that's not a good enough reason to believe that I have a car that runs on milk or something to that extreme, just, do you see where I'm going with this?
Kind of, not completely, but kind of. And that's why, that's, like I said, that's the reason for the call. So before the thing happens, I'm trying to avoid, criticism from non-believers. And I'm trying to see how best to avoid that before it happens. So you're saying that if I were to record and say, look, this is the date, and this is something that is going to happen to me in the future because God told me so, that wouldn't be sufficient evidence.
Well, no, because God told me so part, I think also. That's the other problem that I have with this. If you said, I know that this thing is going to happen to me, and then it happens to you, and it's not something as mundane as like getting up in the morning or drinking tea or whatever.
It's not it's not like,
yeah. If it's a unique experience, right? And let's grant that you had some kind of premonition about this and then it happens, that still doesn't get me an onlooker to because of God, especially a specific God. That's the jump that you're going to ask atheists to make, apparently, that they're not going to be able to.
And that's where you're going to lose us.
Right.
And that's the thing. So if you're real quick, if your goal is simply to not get criticized, then I would say to stop telling them things. Just ask them what they believe and why they believe it, and put them on the spot. Make them tell you why they don't believe, and go with that.
Well, I haven't put myself out there like that at all at this point in that way. When I say criticize, I just mean if I'm making a specific claim, I'm talking about this specific claim, just to say, this is going to happen. I'm telling you the source of my information is from God. I'm trying to avoid criticism of that, to say, because you say, okay, if let's say I make a claim, God told me this, and then it's not something mundane, and I record myself, you said, okay, that wouldn't be sufficient evidence. So I'm trying to figure out what would be sufficient evidence, like in a prophetic type of situation, that I could present to, let's say, an atheist or a non-believer.
Good Omens. Have you seen Good Omens or read the book?
No, I haven't.
Okay. In the book and TV series, there is a book of prophecy, okay? But the book of prophecy prophesies what I'm doing at every minute. So I'll be reading the book of prophecy, right? And I'll turn the page and it'll go, V, your water is getting... the ice is melting in your water or whatever, right? And that would be like, what? What is this? How would it know? It's ancient. And yet I turn the page and it says on this date, you are on the Atheist Experience with Jenna Belk. How would it know that? That might be convincing. But having somebody say something is going to happen and then it happens is not enough for me.
Yeah.
Well, it's something specific. That's what I mean. That's what. So that's what. So
how specific?
If it's something specific,
like, is it going to include a timestamp and a name? And like, how specific?
Yeah. Do you mind if we ask what this thing is that's going to happen to you?
I can't reveal it, because if I do, then I disturb the whole. But if I record it, then and show it and show the time that I'm recording it, then that would be
I mean,
to show that I knew.
See, that's the thing. Photoshop's real.
Yeah, that too. I mean, it's very easy to put a timestamp on a video.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I got to tell you, I don't know what would work, but I also got to say, I don't think I would be convinced.
Okay. Well, I figured I would just ask, but
Okay.
I guess you would have to judge it when it would happen.
Sure, go ahead and post it. Tag us in it. We'll see.
As long as you're safe, don't do anything unsafe.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you're not safe, maybe tell someone.
I mean, you can always email us at tv@atheist-community.org, and we can see if any of the hosts at all, because a lot of people have access to it, so we can see if anybody wants to take you up on it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay, fair enough. Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for calling,
thank
Lou.
you.
Take care. Bye.
I'm a little concerned for him. He's
I kinda wanna know what it
something's going
is.
to happen to me. I'm like, are you okay?
I don't want to know what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've piqued our interest at least.
Right? If we get an email, we'll let you know what happens. Okay, let's go with Luke. Luke, it says here that you are worried about psychopaths that are being controlled by religion. Yeah, me too. What's up? You're talking to Jen and V.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, great. Yeah, I was worried about psychopaths. I think that psychopaths are people who are otherwise morally underdeveloped in a